Looking to stock up on high-quality Ayurvedic herbs? I've partnered with two of my trusted sources, Kerala Ayurveda and Gary and Son, to offer you 20% off their entire range of authentic products. From classical formulas to single herbs and seasonal must-haves, these are staples I use in my own practice. Use code Ojas Oasis for Kerala Ayurveda, Ojas Oasis 20 for Gary and Son. Links are in the show notes. Supporting your healing journey just got a little bit easier. In Ayurveda, nourishment isn't only about what we take in for the body, but also what we offer the heart. That's why we're honored to share Aura Cacao, a ceremonial grade cacao we've chosen as a dharmic partner for the Ojas Oasis community. Aura Cacao supports meditation, heart-opening rituals, and moments of conscious presence. As an exclusive gift for our listeners, use Ojas Oasis 20 for 20% off, and you'll find the link in the show notes. Welcome to Ojas Oasis, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets the modern being. I'm your host, Sasha Brzezinski, Ayurvedic doctor and guide on this journey into the heart of holistic wellness. Before you speak, ask yourself, is it honest? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it the right time? Does it improve the silence? Sathya Sai Baba. Today, Erin and I explore the fifth chakra of speech, poetically named Vishuddha, meaning purification of poison. Vishuddha Chakra represents the ether element and the ability to turn poison into nectar, the process of purification. It is located in the throat and is the seat of the power of the word. It brings prana to the respiratory system. The more silence behind your word, the greater the impact. You may find, upon personal practice, that the simple elegance of silence can be prescribed to most internal challenges. This chakra represents the quality of honest communication, turning ignorance into awareness, transmutation, choice, alchemy, infinity, receptivity, sensitivity, self-expression, finding one's voice, the ability to speak from the heart, and the ability to listen from the heart. Used properly, Vishuddha makes our words nectar, not poison. All poison becomes nectar when Vishuddha is strong and stable, developed and activated. Our words create reality, and since they originate from thought, our thoughts create our reality. Therefore, words are not only descriptive, but creative. When Vishuddha is activated, everywhere you go becomes better as a result of you being there. If too much noise is there, too much talking, or too much thinking, Vishuddha cannot be stabilized because the element it represents is ether, spaciousness, emptiness. The bija mantra for Vishuddha is hum, which means I am. Because on a micro level, we are God, the creator, preserver, and destroyer, which brings me to the story of Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean. Once upon a time, the Devas, gods, and Asuras, demons, were on a quest to retrieve Amrita, the sacred nectar of immortality. In doing so, they had to churn the ocean using Mount Mandara as the churning rod and Vasuki, the serpent king, as their rope. As they churned in what appears to be the original tug of war, divine gifts emerged, like Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, and the celestial cow, Kamadhenu. However, before the Amrita appeared, a deadly poison called Hala Hala surfaced, threatening to destroy all of existence. Terrified, the Devas and Asuras turned to Lord Shiva for help, and in an act of supreme selflessness, he took the poison to his mouth to prevent it from harming creation. But instead of swallowing it or spitting it out, he held it in his throat, where it turned his skin blue, earning him the name of Nilkantha, the blue-throated one. This moment of holding and transforming toxicity without allowing it to spread is the symbolic origin of the Vishuddha Chakra. Just as Lord Shiva purified the deadly poison without letting it harm him, Vishuddha governs the purification of thought, word, and energy. Shiva's restraint symbolizes conscious speech, wisdom, and the power of truth. It is our ability to process, hold, and transmute energy that determines our spiritual growth. Like Shiva, we must learn to hold challenges with grace, not letting toxicity consume us, but instead transforming it into wisdom. When our Vishuddha Chakra is balanced, we speak with clarity, authenticity, and purpose, just as Shiva's act saved creation. Let's get to our chat. Coffee, check. Lip gloss, check.
Uh-huh.
Perfect. We're ready.
I actually went the whole weekend without coffee and didn't even really realize it.
Really?
Or think about it. Yeah. All we had was, like, we always do the French press coffee, and then if there's extra, we'll just throw it in the fridge or store it for iced coffee. So I made myself iced coffees over the weekend, and then I found that I took like 2 sips of it over the weekend or each day and didn't really even notice or think about it. I was like, look at that.
That's really cool.
I can do that.
That's really cool. And the fact that you didn't get like a headache, like a withdrawal headache.
I know.
Because a lot of people get that.
Yeah, I never got the headache. And I don't really think I got fatigued as a result of it either. So that was a nice little
surprise.
2 days without coffee.
Yeah. I know. No, you got to celebrate the little wins, you know? They add up.
Who knew? How was your weekend? What'd you do?
My weekend was great.
Still in Boulder.
I'm going to be in Boulder, for the next week, and then Jackson Hole for 2 weeks, and then back to Boulder. I feel like I've been really busy, and I don't even know what I've been doing. I just feel like I've been working on stuff, organizing my life, taking care of myself. You know, when you're traveling as much as I'm currently traveling, it's like just like making my Ayurvedic medicine takes time, and doing it in a way that I'm present for it and I'm enjoying it. And I know that sounds, for people that like have never made like an herbal decoction from scratch, but it takes time and preparation, and you have to measure the things, and you know, the energy that you make anything with is what you get out of it. So when you're making medicine specifically, like, it's just really nice to be in a place where you're not rushing or doing a million things. And so I've really been trying to not multitask and just singularly tasking. And that just takes more time, right? Because each task wants its own space. When you, you know, when you really...
That's such a good practice. Single tasking, not multitasking.
Yeah.
Just focus.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I've been there's a sauna here where I'm staying. So I've been like in the sauna.
At the house?
Yeah. And there's a jacuzzi, and I got a 2-hour massage. Someone came to the house and gave me a 2-hour massage.
2 hours? Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a 2-hour massage. 90
I
minutes
highly recommend it.
Oh, well, yeah.
If you're ever in Denver, I'm going to send you my guy. I'll send you his contact when you come to Denver. He can come to you. He has a table. He has oils, CBD oils, essential oils, like
all of it.
The music, the speakers. He creates such an incredible experience.
Oh, that's awesome.
With like heat under your neck. Like there's all these just amazing props for your shoulders when you're on your belly, and you're like,
amazing.
Everything is just there. And I'm like, yeah. So honestly, a lot of self-care and just making sure, because what was happening with all the traveling and the movement was my vata was going really high, and it was pushing my pitta. And then my face was breaking out. It's getting better now, but I was like, I couldn't recognize my skin. I was like, this is not me. And as I preach to everyone that I love, and also listeners, and also myself, honestly, is like, well, when your body is giving you signs that something's not right, you kind of gotta like chill out and stop, and like stop doing and listen. And so I've been just taking that time of like making sure that this doesn't go nuts. And because I did that, I'm drinking a lot more water. I'm detoxing more. I'm eating more dark leafy greens. I'm taking my herbal medicine. I'm going to bed early, waking up early, meditating, all these things. Just, I feel like, okay, thank God I did that. So now I can like pick up where I left off with the chaos. And
there's a domino effect.
Yeah.
Like when you start one or two healthy habits, you find it easier to do the other ones as well. Like even just a single tasking, like you're talking about, just having like a grounded presence in the activities that you're doing, that alone then infiltrates into the next thing you do. Like once you do a little bit of self-care, it starts to unravel in a good way.
I totally agree. There's momentum. And it's so funny how like right before you start, there's that resistance because you're like, but I have so much to do. I have so much to do. I'll do all the things I have to do and then I'll take care of myself. That's the voice. And it's so hard when the train is going at 1,000,000 miles an hour to just kind of be like, and we're gonna pull the brakes because you don't want to stop. You're like a machine and you have a way of doing things where things do get done. But your nervous system is kind of just like jacked, you know, and it's not a sustainable thing. So like at some point, and usually it's when the body is showing symptoms, that's usually when we're like, all right, let's make a pit stop here and stretch our legs for a second and we'll get back in the train. We'll keep going. But first things first, let's tend to ourselves. I've really been thinking about that when I have those precious moments of silence and non-doing. I just think of, I'm so like, I literally sometimes I just talk to my body, not out loud, but in my head. And I just say like, I'm so sorry that I just have not been with you really much. I'm like with a lot of other things and I just have not been with you. And I love you and thank you. Hi. Hey y'all, Sasha here for a quick pause. One of the biggest misconceptions about Ayurveda is that there are universal answers. There aren't. The core principles are universal, yet two people can struggle with the exact same symptom and need completely different recommendations based on their constitution, lifestyle, and current state of balance. That's why personalized guidance can be so valuable. If you've been enjoying the podcast and want support applying these teachings to your own life, I offer a 30-minute Ayurvedic strategy session where we can explore your unique situation and discuss what working together might look like. You'll find the booking link in the show notes. Now, let's get back to the episode. And my body is very responsive to that pretty immediately, like blesses me with gratitude and shows me, okay, wow, I wake up the next morning and I have so much more energy and my mood is better. And
well, who wouldn't respond that way if you spoke to them that way? Right? If just seeing anybody, seeing a friend, seeing your partner, your roommate, your kids, just seeing them and saying, hey, like, sorry, I've been so busy lately. I care. You'd say that to anybody and they'd be like, things would shift. It would cause a change. So that's a good lesson, saying that to yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
You know? Who wouldn't?
I just love you so much. Yeah. It's such a great response. Who wouldn't love that? It's like, you're so right.
But it's true. Yeah. Who wouldn't?
It's so true. So true.
We all just want to be seen, even seen and heard, you know, even ourselves to ourselves. Right.
Yes.
So good for you.
Yes. That's a really good point. Really quick is just really wanting to be seen by others. Sometimes what we're really wanting is to see ourselves. And because we're not giving ourselves that, we become so dependent. I think we spoke a little bit about this in our last episode of outsourcing all the time, outsourcing our validation and our love feelings, you know, like that love feeling that we're always, you know, that's our natural state actually, but we veer so far from the source all the time. And then while we're out there, we like forget that we're the source. You know, when we're out, it kind of reminds me, for a good metaphor, like when Sandra Bullock in Gravity, she's like with that tether and she keeps on going like further out, like to, well, not by her choice. Obviously something went wrong. Spoiler alert. Sorry. But what I'm seeing in my head is just the tether of like an astronaut, aka Sandra Bullock. The further she gets out, it's harder to kind of control what's going to happen because she's not at the mothership. She's like at the mercy of this tiny little thread that's connecting her to any chance at survival. And that the further we go out from ourselves, the harder it is to come back. So do we really want to rely on, I mean, we can, and the thing is that like, we can learn to trust and have faith that the universe will support us out there as we explore. But we need to make sure that that tether is hella strong.
There's a little tension there, you know, that there's always the connection you can feel.
Yes.
Right? You can feel a little tug there, and it's not some like loose rope just flinging around. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a good metaphor. I like that visual.
Yeah, it just came to me. I was like, because I feel like that all the time. I'm like, I'm especially traveling and just like looking around and having such an open mind about like where I can live and where I want to root. And that's just, I mean, that's a lot of people too. A lot of people work remotely and can travel as it's like a travel lifestyle kind of, where it's like, where do I want to, okay, next month I'll rent an Airbnb and whatever, like, and they're there. I mean, I know a lot of people who do that and they just have their laptop and frequent flyer miles. I don't know, but they do it. But the thing is it does increase vata, right? And also the pace at which we do things, the way, like I mentioned, multitasking, doing things fast, not giving space between tasks, and not taking the time to ground yourself in stillness and in silence. I was actually I was texting Erin Riley the other day. She was asking me just good ways of detoxing because her home is in LA. A lot of people are displaced right now. So this is another really good opportunity to talk about how we ground ourselves when the home base is no longer safe. So you need to figure out how to make a home inside of yourself anywhere you go, but also detoxing the very real toxicity that you may have breathed in when you were there. And
like physically,
which it's like, well, sauna is really good. Infrared sauna is really good for that, pulling the toxins out. There's herbs for that. For the respiratory system, there's some really good, it's a category of herbs called demulcent herbs, where it's coating the lining of your respiratory system just so that it doesn't get overly dry and irritated and inflamed. So it's cooling. And I think of herbs like shatavari, licorice, marshmallow root, slippery elm, just to name a couple, which you can take as supplements, or you can make teas. There's like this amazing tea by traditional medicinals called throat coat that I like love in the winter.
I know it.
And there's eucalyptus. There's one with eucalyptus in there, which is wonderful. It's a vasodilator. And just, you want to basically open everything up, and you want to open and then release, right? So that, what better way of doing that than sauna, honestly, because everything in the warmth is when you open, and then your skin will naturally let go of all that stuff. But also the point that I really wanted to make with the detoxing is there's a subtle way of detoxing too, which is just to be in silence and not speak and not listen to anything. And you were actually mentioning this, I think, in our last episode.
Yes.
Of just the need for silence sometimes.
Can I tell you, I had a weekend to myself and I feel like 100% different person. I stayed in the city this weekend because I had plans for the most part of Saturday with like girlfriends. It was just like a separate thing that Matt wasn't really involved with. And it'd be like a long day of childcare if we hired somebody to do it. So Matt took the kids to our house upstate for the weekend. And when I realized that was going to happen, I was like, wait. Does that mean I'm alone for 48 hours? Like, what? Oh my God. I had, like, yesterday, I don't think I said a single word except for like, thank you to the Trader Joe's checkout person and the nail tech and like, hello. When I went, it was so quiet. I came home and I read a book for hours. I just didn't have, not only was I not speaking, but I didn't have anybody talking to me. I mean, I had like a big social event on Saturday, but aside from that, it was, I swear, within hours of just not hearing other people's voices, especially like mom, or like babe. not having that for just hours, I was great by Saturday morning. And I was like, I've got another like 36 to go. This is what's going to even happen here. This is amazing.
You're going to become enlightened. You're going to transcend.
Like they came back and I was like, hello, I love you. Come,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Isn't
the silence
that amazing
thing,
how little it takes.
Yes. Just a few hours of just quiet. How that can be so healing. Right. And just, it was very transformative. So anyway, you were talking about our other friend, Erin, and you gave that advice.
I have a term for this. This is called elegant simplicity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Elegant simplicity. All that's needed sometimes is silence. It's very simple. It's like such a simple thing to prescribe somebody, right? When their nervous system is just overtaxed and they're exhausted and depleted, and being in silence and stillness. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time before your body just snaps back, because that's you're giving yourself exactly what you need, and then your body like knows what to do with that time. It's like, okay, thank you. Now we can figure out how to get back into the parasympathetic nervous system and regulate our breathing again and our digestion. And then you're like, oh wow, everything's working really smoothly in my vessel now. So okay, now I can tend to other people. Now how are you doing? How can I serve you? But until we're in the right state of consciousness, and also like our physiology from an Ayurvedic perspective is aligned with our true nature, how are we expecting ourselves to constantly be at the service of others and the world when we neglect ourselves? I mean, these are the conversations that I think are going to change the world ultimately. Is like, we're all going to be nicer. I promise you, we're all going to be nicer to each other if we give ourselves this grace. We need this grace.
100%. As of like Thursday night, Matt and I like had a fight, or there was just so much, I don't want to say tension, but I could just feel, I guess tension maybe is the word, but just like too much energy bouncing around our house, like too much going on. Everybody was sick last week. We were together so much. The kids were around. Like there was just so much going on. By like Thursday night, I was like, this is going to bust. And it kind of did.
And it did.
You
knew it. You knew it would.
It kind of did. I was like, I just need to be left the fuck alone for like a little while. Like So anyway, I got that and it was healing. But even like, honestly, on a smaller scale, like 5-10 minutes of meditating can really, really reset our nervous system, our whole mindset. And then you can bring yourself out back into the world once you've just had a little bit of time to yourself to just be alone with your thoughts.
It's literally, I'm trying to think of it. I'm a very visual person, so I appreciate when people give metaphors and visuals. And I just feel like there's a pressure that builds up throughout our day. It like starts as soon as we honestly start doing things or like checking things off our to-do list. We're already like, there's like a full tank at the beginning of the day. And then like at some point that tank is like, I'm kind of done. That's why we go to sleep at night. Like we need to regenerate all of that. But there's also this thing that we carry from day to day. We accumulate this pressure, I feel like, in our head. And a lot of that pressure is like things that we need to remember to do. Just again, like deadlines, things to like bills to pay on time, or play like dates to meet people and plan things and schedule things. And just the responsibility kind of tab has a lot of sub tabs, and that pressure to just like show up consistently, and also all the thoughts in our own head about what's going on. And if that's not tended to or depressurized, pressure cooker is a really good way of thinking about it. We need to ventilate that. And like, I think of an Instapot or an Instant Pot or whatever the hell it's called. As soon as you just press that one little button and the steam starts to come out a little bit, that steam really wants to come out. You see it. It's like, it like explodes out from the top, and it's like hot and it's fast. And it's like, if we're not doing that for ourselves, just think about how much shit is going on in there. Right. And I think that's probably why also there's a lot of resistance to doing it, because people are like, I'm kind of scared of what's going to come out. once I open
Totally.
the tab.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or it comes out all at once versus a slow stream, right? So you've got to be conscious of how you're ventilating. Ventilation is such a good word. And I've always thought of that since I've learned more about Ayurveda, like the need to ventilate. You know, people talk about venting to their friends or venting to their whatever. We need to vent.
Let it out.
We have
crying, whatever, talking. Yeah.
There's so many ways. Doesn't even have
100%.
to be, I mean, we're going to talk about communication and that sort of thing today. But not only is ventilation necessary, but you can also, there's ways to kind of control the intake, I guess, or the amount that's coming in as well by reducing the noise, finding some silence, finding some quiet time, like just giving it a moment where you're not just adding to that pressure cooker and adding and adding and adding. Like if you don't have the ability to vent and let things out, maybe you can control what's coming in.
It's so true. And when the consequences of our decisions are like the more that's riding, and we need to realize that not to go on a tangent, it's really easy for us to do this because we like to explore life, hence podcast. Hello, everybody. But, the more that's riding on your decisions, the more clear consciousness you need to be in to channel the right decision. How are we supposed to expect ourselves to perceive truth or clarity when our bodies and our nervous systems are completely clogged, blocked? I mean, there should be flow. There should be an ease with which we make decisions. Usually the best right decisions are like obvious. They're right there. Usually in any moment, if you meet the moment in a state where you can perceive truth, it's very easy. So when we are indecisive or when we make quote unquote mistakes, we feel like we made a mistake, we chose the wrong thing, or like whatever, we forgot something, whatever. It's because of this. It's the quality of our state. It's literally the quality of the state of our body and our mind. Hence why Ayurveda is so important when we're talking about these higher spiritual goals, or, the chakra system, for example, the series that we're doing right now. This is, again, only as strong as our physiology. It's connected. We talk about not only the mental components behind these energies, but we're also talking about where they're located, because those organs or the nearby, the network that it's connecting to is directly reflecting the state of that chakra. So for example, the throat, today we're going to be talking about Vishuddha Chakra, to say it correctly because the H is aspirated. Vishuddha is in your throat. So of course we're going to be talking about the thyroid and the respiratory system and our ability to breathe, and also our ability to speak and communicate, the audio box, vocal cords, all of that's there because the subtle energy behind the Vishuddha chakra is the ability to speak your truth, which is a more subtle aspect of speaking. It's more subtle to be like, how do I even find my truth, right? And then how do I feel about sharing and communicating and expressing that? And that can be like also your truth, again, to get even more subtle, to know what your truth is, you got to kind of have to know who you are to know what your truth is. And a less subtle example of this is like, and you might not make this connection right away with the Vishuddha chakra, but thinking about like you're going out to dinner and you're thinking about what to wear, and you're thinking about, okay, well, what are other people going to be wearing? Right? Or like, what is my partner wearing? Or what are my friends going to be wearing? Whatever. Dress code, whatever. And then it's like, but what do you feel like wearing? What do you want to wear right now? How are you feeling? Like, because then you feel really different. You feel really confident when you're able to express what you are feeling and enjoying, looking at and embodying. And then it's a different experience to go out and show up as yourself versus, well, everyone's going to be wearing black. I think it's going to be kind of weird if I'm the one person wearing red or whatever. Like,
yeah. And I don't want people to like look at me
think
a
I'm
certain
trying to
way.
get, yeah, exactly. But instead it's like, I love to think of fashion when I think of Vishuddha Chakra. And it's not about the material aspect of fashion. It's more the expressive nature of how we present and how we communicate and express who we are
Yes.
and what our truth is. And, you know, for a long time, I will say, as a woman who developed breasts really young, I was so confused about how I was treated wearing the same clothes growing up as all my friends, but it looked different on my body. So then I would get this feedback from teachers that I was being inappropriate. And I was like,
Don't
I'm
even
literally a
get me
kid
started.
in puberty and I don't know
I'm 10.
what. Like I can't wear a skirt. Yeah. Yeah. Like it was just, yeah. So having boobs like really young and that's just, again, these are just all, there's so many nuances to these conversations and how we feel good about being who we are. I think Vishuddha Chakra is not just the obvious, oh, being honest and like letting someone know if they hurt your feelings or letting someone know that, you know, you don't agree with them in a kind way. Like another really good example of this, I'm just kind of like offshooting all these different like little bubbles and then I'll pause to give you a moment to tell me what you think about all these like little thought bubbles popping out of each other. But another one is like the current state of our political system or just the way in which we're receiving news about this. Like we are all, like all Americans at least listening to this, like, listen, we're all living in America. So we're Americans. We all live in different states with different kind of like subcultures within that country, East versus West Coast, and then northern states versus southern states. And also it's like the landscape that you live in and the economies that are thriving. Like some are farmers, some are in the cities, it's like tech people. And in the country, it's people that are farming and doing like more industrial kind of jobs, right? So everyone kind of has issues that are directly impacting them at any given moment that feel closer to them, right? Some people, you know, feel very strongly about the environment because they're living in a very beautiful natural environment that they feel like, I really want to protect this. This is really sacred. And they have that reminder every single day of how beautiful this planet is. And then the people that are more removed from that natural environment are just like, who cares? What? Like, we need to be a country that is prosperous and makes a lot of money. And why are people trying to limit our ability to drill oil for like whatever? Like that's one example. So everyone just has a different lens. That being said, being able to call ourselves a united country, like a United States, like that's literally our name. The word united is in our name identity. It's like crazy because it doesn't feel that way.
Feels ironic. Yeah.
It feels so ironic to say USA when you can't even really, in some situations lately, I've been feeling like if I ask a question or if I'm curious about something or if I simply just truly don't agree with something that someone else is saying, I feel kind of like this immediate like scarlet letter going on my face or something. Like I'm okay, we don't want anything to do with that. And it's like, wait, what? Like, what just happened? Vishuddha Chakra, when we have a healthy ability to express ourselves, it is not in conflict. It is in true exploration and a desire to connect and see how someone else is thinking.
Yeah.
So that we can connect with more types of people because we live in such a diverse country and we want to have these conversations that are like, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way because I grew up in a Jewish town. I'm Jewish. I grew up in a Jewish town and it was very liberal. I don't know what it's like to live in a very strictly religious place. So I have so many thought bubbles on this because we're talking about that pressure cooker and it's like there are so many issues right now that people feel so much
passion and emotion on, and that pressure is just accumulating, and nobody wants to talk about the nature of why it's not feeling good to disagree. And it's like we need to realize we're all disagreeing because we're coming from such different walks of life and different upbringings and different socioeconomics and education and life experiences and states of consciousness. And what does our family have to say about it? Do we have family members that are transgender versus like we've never had a friend that's transgender? Different exposure is what I'm really talking about. Because when you meet people, and this is kind of the beauty of traveling. I'm sorry, I'm really going on tangent here. But when you meet people from all walks of life, it gets so hard to pick a team or pick a side because you realize everybody has a heart that bleeds and everybody's crying and everybody's in pain in some aspect and everyone has a family, and at their core essence, everybody is a pure baby that just wants to like feel safe and connect and feel heard and seen. But I often find right now, because we're talking about expressing truth with the Vishuddha Chakra, which I haven't even defined yet, which I will, but I can't choose a side because I'm aware that if I do, I'm alienating a whole half of the country that I want to still be able to talk to. And if I say, for example, like it used to be like religious wars. Now it's political wars. So now if I say I'm Democrat, Republicans hate me. And then if you say you're Republican, then Democrats hate you. So then it's like, okay, I'm not into that. Yeah, it is both. But what I will do is I will talk about issues that I care about. And we can talk about the issues that we care about. And then we can find common ground through there. And at the very least, if you don't agree with me at the end of the day, that's also fine. But at least now I understand why, instead of just writing that person off and just thinking, well, they're just terrible. They're just a bad person. It's like, that's lazy. And that's not really enabling you and your critical thinking skills to look more closely at human nature and realize we're all souls, right? And then on an even more subtle realm, we're all on a journey, and everyone's at a different part of the journey of what they're ready to sacrifice into the karmic fire. And by that, I'm really saying our egos all attach to identities. Our egos are all attaching to, I'm a woman, I'm an independent, but I'm also not attached to the identity of being an independent because I'm not attached to any of it. I don't care. But like, I'm a woman, but I'm not against men. I'm an independent, but I'm not against Democrats or Republicans. I'm pro-choice, but I'm not against people that are pro-life. I'm not gay, but I love gay people. So I want them to have as many rights as I do. I am not in the military, but I want people in the military to feel safe. And I want everyone to have the chance to serve our country if they feel called to do so, which is like such a beautiful service and sacrifice. So these are just some like off the cuff examples of, can we make room for letting other people share their truth and reserving the right to judge, or at least suspending giving, like just suspend the impulse to discard those that come from a completely different walk of life. They're still human beings. Like, we're all human. And there's just so much change that's happening right now in our country. I feel like this is a really, really hot topic. And I'm happy that we're having this conversation on this particular day with a new administration that just is still kind of being formed, and a lot of change is happening, right, in our system, in our government, and conversations are being had. We're getting a lot of news about it, and a lot of conversations are feeling very quick to predict, or like that negative bias is kicking in, where it's like, as soon as the person that you didn't want to won, it's like, oh, get ready, because the end of the world, you know what I mean? It's like, the next 4 years are going to be terrible. And it's like, wait, but can we maybe manifest a different reality? Like, can we, before we jump to worst case scenarios, is it possible that through conversations and through community and us coming together, can we actually make it positive? Like, can we find silver linings? Can we find light, right? In the dark. And I think the answer is, of course we can, but it takes a certain level of awareness and consciousness and patience, again, which is hard when there's so much built up emotional pressure and emotional charge to these issues.
Mm-hmm. I have a lot to.
I know. That's why I backed up from the mic. I'm like,
no,
okay,
it's okay.
You go.
It's really okay. I think I can boil it down though. I think, well, there's a reason, first of all, that we've talked about this chakra system. It's a foundational system, right? You start from the base and work your way up, right? In order to express your truth, just stepping back, being able to express your truth, you have to know what your truth is, know who you are. That takes working through those other chakras. Do you have a sense of home? Do you have safety? Do you have home in yourself? Who are you? What is your truth, right? Before you can speak your truth, you have to understand who you are, what your truth is. You have to work your way up to that expression. And it feels like we are skipping steps, totally skipping steps. We are missing the entire compassion process, the whole listening process, everything we talked about last week. That is such a area that we really lack for sure as a country and as a species, I think, because it is so fucking easy to talk now. We have phones and computers and fucking microphones just like us. And sorry for all the F-bombs, but everybody can talk all the time now. And we can do it behind the safety of our phone. So everybody's talking. Everybody's speaking. Everybody is, even if they don't honestly know who they are, they're talking anyway. So honestly, this Vishuddha chakra that we have as a society, species, whatever, it is imbalanced from the regard that it is overused. Okay. We have skipped over the heart and gone right to I have something to say. Shut up and listen for a second. Have some compassion, some empathy, the ability to sit and look at somebody in the eye, right? And just talk. No, don't talk. Listen, stop talking. Everybody loves to talk. And if they don't love to talk, they like to type and share their thoughts without even knowing if they're true or right. And without regard of, there doesn't have to be a feedback process. There doesn't have to be it's not a closed loop system. I can't just say what I want to you and then walk away. But on the internet, I sure can. I can comment and then never fucking talk to you again. I can just shout things at you through my stupid little thumbs, right? But there is absolutely no listening in this digital age, right? Because we all have the ability, we all have all the social media platforms we could ever ask for to just push it out. And
it's verbal diarrhea.
And it's just this boomerang we keep throwing out. And then if it comes back at us, it's God forbid that. So, and I know I'm getting passionate about it because I just feel like we have totally skipped over all of these steps because we just want to say what we feel. Get a journal, man. You don't have to yell at somebody that you don't know, and you don't have to, or if you are, be willing to have a conversation with them. Actually, another podcast that I work on, it's called Postpartum Production. Caitlin, who's the host of that, and she's a community activist and all sorts of other things. She was sharing an example, actually a very kind of similar conversation that she had with somebody else about this, echo chamber that we live in, where we're just kind of shouting at people on the internet and not really listening back. But she's been involved in activism in her community, which is San Francisco. And she had said something online and somebody accused her of saying something, whatever, just some terrible thing was said at her about being dehumanizing and this awful, racist kind of thing. And she wrote them and was like, "Oh, do you want to go out for coffee sometime?" And they never heard back.
Because then it's real.
Because then it's real. Mm-hmm. Imagine if they said that to her face. You don't, if they were like, "You're a racist bitch." And she was like, "Do you want to just talk about this?" Imagine that.
Such a rational response.
Good for you. She's like, "Hey, would you like to go out for coffee sometime?" And meanwhile, this is about their kids' elementary school. And she's like, "Jesus, what? This is," but I was cheering for her, saying, she's like, "I don't know, maybe it's in my age, whatever. I've just we also grew up knowing we were raised to have conversations. We didn't grow up in the digital age. We're old enough. I mean, I'm turning 40 this year, so I didn't grow up in this digital, I guess, in my adolescence. So I've learned how to have conversations with people in real life and how to say, hey,
we're the last of the Mohicans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but my whole point is that if the internet actually could talk to each other in a two-way conversation versus just like one-way things being thrown at each other, how different would things be? Right. And we've lived through that. There's been generations, hundreds of years without technology that we have now. So we've done this before. Anyway, and I know I'm saying a lot of things here too, but the point that I'm trying to make is like, I think there's this like hollowed out, I mean, if we're going to talk about chakras, there's this like hollowed out middle, right? The whole compassion, the whole heart-centered conversations are just like not there. And the Vishuddha, the chakra seems just like so blown out because everybody has a platform.
Overactive.
It's way overactive. Like I feel like we don't have an expression problem. I feel like we need to like peel back, frankly, and just listen more. Right. So that's my response to that. Right. Like you have to like work through the levels before you express yourself. Right. If you said something to me that I was totally triggered, if you were like, I support all these things, and every single one of the things was like not what I support, before responding and just saying, well, I think this, I think that. Okay. Do the like system check. Okay. What at a base level, what is this triggering? Okay. I feel foundationally thrown because Sasha's saying something that is so core to my identity and my ancestry and my upbringing that is what's triggering. Okay. I've identified that. Okay. And then work through the heart. Right. And I know I'm kind of not going through all the chakras and stuff here, but then eventually you get to the heart and you're like, why might she be saying this? Okay. Her foundation is different. Her ancestry is different. And by the time you get to your voice, you've already done the working out of everything. And then we can have a compassionate conversation. Right. But the like checking in on all the systems, that's called listening and feeling and thinking. Right. And not only your own feelings and thoughts and triggers and all that, but then the other person's as well. That takes time. That's the thing that we're missing these days, is like the time to reflect and think through all of that before just yelling with our thumbs, right? Reacting versus like the thoughtful response.
I love it. There's so many things I also wanted to just be like, yeah. But Vishuddha, the word Vishuddha literally means purification of poison.
Whew. Okay. Yeah.
So let's just drop that little nugget of insight.
Okay. So talk about the purification process.
So, and another thing that you're describing as you're speaking is emotional intelligence, the process of purifying. And what is the poison? Let's just like define what is the poison. It's not, so in order to see truth, we need a clear, clean lens, right? When we go through life and we're traumatized and we're hurt and we're programmed and things happen and then we're told they happened that way because fill in the blank, instead of like allowing ourselves to kind of define that and experience that and figure it out on our own, we have schools, we have parents, we have friends, we have government, we have culture that tells us that's not what's beautiful. This is what's beautiful, right? Let's just do beauty standards because this is a very relatable thing for not only women, but also men. I mean, what's handsome for men now is different than what it used to be. So let's just think of this one idea of beauty, right? What is beautiful? I feel that that's been poisoned by lots of things that are actually, so like the lens itself, like we literally have filters on social media that talk about being able to see truth and clarity. There's what you're looking at doesn't exist, right? But that's now the standard. So to purify the poison is really anything that is not clean and clear and true. And our ability to see that, we need to know what a real human face looks like to understand that when we look now, especially with AI, now when we look at like a fake rendition of a person and we're like, that's not a human face, because I know what a real human face looks like, and this person's this is not real, right? We can at least at this point, I mean, AI is still quite new, but in these early stages, maybe in 10 years, we might really not know. We don't have to go there though. But like for now, what I'm saying is like the poison is the thing that is not eternal. It's not real. It's not nature. Nature is what's real. Nature, and at our nature, we do listen. We do want to listen to one another, and we do, because our essence, again, remember, Satchitananda. Ananda is that bliss. We started this season with the koshas, and we know that at our core essence, there's bliss. So as the layers come on throughout our life and we get tainted, let's just say, or just heavy and all this, we accumulate all these, false narratives and coping mechanisms and masks and false senses of self, because we think we had to be, in order to be loved, we thought we needed to be this perfectly, like this person that doesn't have wrinkles, this person that doesn't have fat, this person that is like perfectly like engineered out of, I don't know. Again, it's not real. So it's an idea. It's plastic. I believe, and this is just, again, I talk to a lot of people. This is what I do. It's my dharma to talk about this, to teach it, to help walk people home to their true nature. That's prakriti. That's where you won't get any diseases. That's where you're going to feel really at home in yourself and at home in your body, no matter where you go, no matter who you talk to. That's Ayurveda. That's why we have Ayurveda along with yoga, right? Yoga and Ayurveda will never, ever live separately. They're always, but yeah, I think that as we have more access to technology that is enabling a narrative of artificial, I want to say artificiality or superficiality, we must keep that tether back to the Sandra Bullock metaphor.
Yeah.
We have to we're human beings are curious. We will continue to evolve and develop technology, and we want to go to Mars. It's going to happen. We want to have whatever. We want robots. Okay, cool. Here's your robots. If that's what you really want. If you really want to like live on another planet, go for it. If you want to, whatever, do whatever you want. But if we don't keep that tether to the mothership, we kind of know how the story is going to end. It's not going to be good, because we've evolved from nature. Nature is the 5 elements. It's the Panchamahabhutas. It's fire, air, water, ether, earth. And if we don't continue to come back to love, our core essence, which is bliss, our core truth, which is that we're more similar than we are different. Just the mere fact, I mean, do we know top of mind how much DNA is exactly the same to a monkey? It's like 99.98 or something crazy. I don't know on the top of my head, but just the fact that we have so much, we have so much evolved together on this planet with one another, and we're fighting over just disagreeing on it's
everything.
It just seems so petty when we've been through so much together for billions of years. In order to have made it this far, we've had to steward the earth and figure out how to grow food and distribute it to one another. And so some people are growing the food, and some people are building the buildings, and some people are raising the children, and some people are. We need to remember this, like that we are on the same team at the end of the day. If aliens, and if aliens are trying to come after us, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just saying, like, we are ultimately living in the same house together. We're like a family. And I just think all this dysfunction and all this, all these symptoms, it's like symptoms of we've gone so far, we've just wandered so far away from truth. And the poison is actually the lies that we believe. And so to clean that mirror, to clean that lens, to purify the poison, which Shiva did when he, to kind of bring it back to the story of how Vishuddha got its name, Shiva is known as the blue-throated one. And it's because there's this story in Hindu mythology of the churning of the oceans. It's this like very, very famous story of the asuras and the devas, or the demons and the gods. Basically, they're trying to churn the ocean to figure out who's going to get the Amrit, which is the nectar of immortality. So whoever, it's like literally imagine this tug of war, because that's what ends up happening. There's a snake. There's a snake that they're each pulling on to churn the ocean, and whoever wins basically is going to get the Amrit. But as they're churning the ocean to get the Amrit, poison is coming out of the ocean first. And this is a really, really profound metaphor of what comes out on our journey to truth, on our journey to unity. A lot of weird stuff comes out, just like in panchakarma or in any healing process.
Yeah. The gunk.
You might have a lot of literal diarrhea. You might be vomiting. You might, I mean, plant medicine ceremonies, this happens too. Like crying, shaking out trauma, like screaming. Yeah, exactly. That was exactly the next one I was going to say. So all this impurity is coming out of you, out of your deepest tissues, because that's what it is to heal. You have to release that stuff. And I think that's actually what's happening on a macro scale.
Yeah.
Is all this like crap is coming out. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, but I guess we're healing. Like we're like, I don't know. Is everyone aware of how insane this looks? Because wow, we're just hearing a lot of like yelling and shouting, and doesn't feel grounded or rooted in our truth, and like it doesn't feel like who we really are at our core, because it's not. But this is the stuff that needs to come kind of out of the ocean. And then there's the Amrit. Then there's that sacred nectar of immortality. And out of that ocean, oh, by the way, they didn't know what to do when that poison was coming out of the ocean. They were like, this could literally end the world. So they looked at Shiva, and Shiva decided to swallow it to save everybody basically from it. And his throat turned blue, because anyone else that would have taken it would have died. But because Shiva is so powerful, he literally was able to alchemize the poison in his throat, and he became the blue-throated one. And hence the name Vishuddha was born for that chakra system in our throat. And it's a beautiful way of thinking of this too, is how do we alchemize a feeling that is charged with our own trauma? Like, so say someone hurt us, okay? Like everyone's going to raise their hand. Oh, has anyone been hurt before? Like you go into an auditorium of literally the planet, and everyone's going to raise their hand. Like everyone, yeah, everyone's had their feelings hurt. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Now, so say someone says a similar thing down the road 5 years later, and how that's going to make you feel and how that's going to make you react. Now that you've lived 5 years with that living in your body, and you never processed it, you never released it, you never forgave that person. It just like literally changed your sense of self and how you relate to the world. Okay, great. So now how are you going to tell that person that what they said hurt your feelings? Because this is a different person now saying the same thing 5 years later. I mean, again, it's up to you, but how you choose to meet that feeling and that truth of yours, of how that is feeling for you, is going to depend on your awareness. So turning, for example, a trauma, someone like could have literally assaulted you, right? 5 years ago. You are so powerful. Here's the thing that I really, really freaking hope I hit a home run on this, because this is so important for me to relay to everyone about pain and trauma, is that you're so powerful that you can take something that someone did to you at any moment of your life and turn it into Amrit. That churning of the ocean is happening inside of us all the time. There will either be poison that comes out of an experience, and you might develop this belief, this negative, false, limiting belief of the world is not safe. That's a poisonous thought, because that's limiting you, closing you off to your true nature of bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can turn it into, I'm going to allow this pain, this suffering that I've endured, and I'm going to let it make me a better person. And the way I'm going to let it make me a better person is I'm going to develop compassion for other people's suffering. Because now I have experienced what it is to suffer and have pain. I'm going to now like soften to other people's pain, because that is what unites us. That is ultimately, it's going to look different for everybody, but the pain of human existence is what unites us. And having compassion for one another and one another's experiences and journeys allows us to give each other the grace of wanting to listen. Right. Because if we really truly thought that we were enemies and just like straight up, oh, that person is just poisonous, that turns into a kind of a poison for ourselves. We live with that poison of hatred in our own hearts. And it's very corrosive to the human spirit to live that out in your day-to-day life. So it ends up just kind of destroying yourself. So yeah, I kind of brought in the story of the churning of the ocean because, and I feel like this could like very easily become a 2-part episode, Vishuddha Chakra, because it's a big one.
Well, and you know what? It's like, as we're building on the chakra system, it is a build on. It isn't all the different chakras aren't in isolation of one another. I mean, maybe in the beginning when we're talking about the foundational stuff, but we're talking a lot about, honestly, the heart chakra too here. Like all of these things are so connected, and you can't have a healthy balance. I mean, I don't know, maybe you can, I guess, a healthy balance of Vishuddha Chakra without having the heart in place and the sense of self in place and the security to express oneself. You can't show up to a party wearing the wildest outfit. You know, you've got to have some self-confidence there and some security. And like, I don't give a shit if I'm wearing red and everyone's wearing black. That's like self-esteem there, right? So you can't really have this expression without having these other things in place. And so it's this build on, and each week, I mean, wait till we talk about the third eye, man. And beyond that, all of, it's additive, right? Yes. And, but it's all additive. It's all cumulative, right? And again, I think this goes back to my point that this Vishuddha Chakra that we have as a society, it's like there's a hole in our foundation in that pyramid. When because yes, the chakras, I think of like that, the stacked up, the vertical line of rings, but I also do think of that of the pyramid as well.
Maslow's hierarchy. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I really do. And I feel like that middle one is just like shoved out
totally
to the side. Yeah. Hollowed out. And it's like, you can't have one without the other. And that's the part that's like, I feel like it's so hard to talk about the Vishuddha Chakra without talking about the heart and the need for that to be in place before you can proceed with expression and the sense of self and the esteem and the things I mentioned a second ago too. Like all of those things need to be in place before you can express yourself, but it will cause harm. To go back to, we've talked about this in prior seasons, but like ahimsa as being like the number one rule, as the kind of
non-harming.
Yes. That's kind of your check for whether you should do something or not. Is it going to cause harm or not? And like, sure, you can feel free to express yourself without having your sense of self in place or your truth or your compassion in place, but it's going to cause some harm, right? Like that's the thing. It's like, if you are just spewing things, I don't, that's the difference to me, I guess, is like, we could have a conversation about our differences if I am able to listen and be compassionate and have a strong sense of like, okay, this is really my foundation. This is really why I feel this way. But I've thought through it. I've felt through it. I understand you. I understand. We can have a conversation and we walk away feeling not only unharmed, but like better.
Yes.
Because we feel we've built something together. Like, okay, I totally get why Sasha and I disagree, but not only do we talk through that, we're stronger as friends now.
Yeah.
We're more unified.
That's
right?
real connection, isn't it?
Real connection. So it's so valuable and necessary to work through those other things first before expression. And the last thing I'll say too is just from a freaking evolutionary perspective, read any book about it. And the reason why humans were able to evolve beyond other species that came from the Homo genus is because of our ability to cooperate.
Mm-hmm.
When we started using tools and we started to communicate with one another and work as a collective and not just against, that is when we literally were able to keep the species going and why others didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Our ability to cooperate is literally what has kept us biologically advanced and continuing to advance as a society. And if we don't, we are not going to be a species much longer, right? This is, we need to continue to cooperate. Can't cooperate unless you're listening, right?
Exactly. Something that came to mind about communication. So obviously, since Vishuddha is in the throat, the affirmation for strengthening Vishuddha Chakra, let's just say, like, I speak my truth with ease and kindness, right? So the kindness aspect comes from the heart, right? Like, we know that to speak your truth sweetly or with compassion involves, the predecessor, the one that is built above.
Yes.
And to go back to that story of the churning of the ocean and the gods and the demons, can't we all infer, or can't we just all agree that we all have both within us? We all have the angel and the devil living, or whatever you want to call it. We all have demons, in other words. We all have the demons, the thoughts that live rent free in our mind about that are not so positive and shiny all the time. And like, as much as you love people, don't you have some days where you're just like, oh gosh, I just hate people. God, just like can't. People are just, I can't anymore with people. I just like need to like be in a cave at home and not talk to people, not see people. That goes away, obviously. Like, give yourself a minute to like regenerate and rejuvenate your nervous system. And you're like, oh, I love people. People are so great. Like, oh, it's so good to be with people again. So it's just like,
that takes time.
Yes.
Time is the thing that we are missing from this. When we talk about compassion, listening, taking that time to not be like, fuck everybody. It's time. It's time. And we're so hard pressed for it these days because there's so much for us to do and so many things that are accessible to us that we can do all the time. And there's a main goal to be productive. And so we are constantly sacrificing our time.
Or just using only one aspect of time. So time is used like we as the experiencers of time use it according to our consciousness. So we can use time. So like all time is basically like I think we're just as productive not doing things. Again, like this is the radical wave of realization that's kind of happening now. As we're all burned out, and as a society, I'm saying, like, we're all burned out because it's like, wait, technology advanced, we should have more time. Things are more automated. We have Alexa, you know what I mean? We have Chat GPT. Why are we still feeling so overworked? And it's like, well, you used to go home at the end of the day. Now you have emails, right? And now people really do expect you. Oh, now you can work from home. Now you're remote. Oh, well, I'm going to text you 11 p.m. Why aren't you responding? Like, it's so this ability to kind of like compartmentalize doing and non-doing, the lines have been especially blurred. If you work from home, like your home is now your workspace too. So really we have time. It's just a matter of like, again, as a visual person, see it as a pie chart. Your time is like a circle. And we just need to realize the value of carving time to rest and scheduling in our calendar.
Yes.
Literally. I've done this, I think, with you before, haven't I? Or I've done this with people that I've worked with patients of mine, where I'm like, okay, ready? So your life is really, really full. When can you schedule a morning to rest? Turn your phone off and rest and like be with yourself. That's using time. We are pressed for time because we're filling it with stuff.
Yes.
And by the way, the element of the Vishuddha is ether.
I was just going to say.
Empty space.
I was just going to say this. I mean, to kind of bring it home, I guess, the need for space. Like we were talking about at the beginning, silence, quiet, that time to detox, to process, right? That has to be there in
For
order to
purification,
express.
you need emptiness.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. I mean, going back to just talking about how our friend needed to literally detoxify her lungs and needed the space to do that, right? That ether is so necessary. It just even physically and in terms of time, just giving yourself a few seconds before responding to somebody. Better, the more time, the better, right? To be able to process and work through, like you said, the predecessors before you're just, again, shouting back or reacting. Time and space, right? Otherwise it's just filled. But yeah, setting those boundaries for the ether to exist in your day, in your body, I think is a crucial step.
And I want to say, I mean, there's so much we can, again, it's funny because as soon as we talk about the center of communication, it's like, there's a lot to say on that. That's a big, big, big one, because the quality of our life, one might say that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships. The quality of our relationships is determined by our ability to communicate. The quality of our communication will create either lots of friction, dysfunction, or ease and unity and connection, which creates such a different quality of life.
I mean, I literally said almost that exact phrase to Matt on Thursday. When I said the pressure cooker was happening, I had to say something at some point, like, if we can't communicate about this, right? Like we have to be able to communicate about what's going on or whatever it was. And we don't need to get into that, but the ability to communicate is what's going to set this on one trajectory or another. It's so important. I also think another thing, like this is kind of separate, but related just in terms of the ether thing. There's always this like relationship advice about like, don't go to bed mad. Like, no, I think it's okay to actually, because the next day you've given yourself the time to process. I think it's okay to go to bed and be like, let's talk about this tomorrow. I'm upset. We can just like be how we are tonight. And like, let's recognize that like this sucked. Then when you sleep on it, and then you can like have some time to process and everything, the conversations you'll have the next day probably going to be a lot more productive than the one that you're going to have at night when you're still feeling the feelings and you're still triggered. And my advice is go to bed mad, or whatever you're feeling, maybe share that, but putting some time in between the conversation is so valuable, at least in my relationship.
And I was just going to say, also the words that you choose will be totally different. And can't words be the most poisonous, most violent thing?
Yes.
Words. Because I want to say, as it's located in the throat, that's the seat of the power of the word. And words are so powerful. And here's the thing, once they're said, they can't be unsaid, and they will live in the ethers, because that's where words live. They live in the throat chakra, which is the seat of ether. It's the seat of, it's expression. It's how we understand ourselves in the world, really. I mean, and they're so subtle. Words are so subtle, and they're so, like you were saying, it's so easy to say them. It's so easy to say words.
Yeah. Or type them.
Yeah, but allowing the purification of the process of how you choose which words to say, that's I feel like that's the juice, like that's the amrit. That's the nectar of immortality. And that's how we will literally save ourselves from so much unnecessary conflict, suffering, disconnect, social alienation. Again, it's not only disconnect from others, but disconnect from our true self. Because when we show up in that way that's dysregulated and mean and like saying things that we immediately regret and are like, oh God, that came out, didn't it? Shit. And you're like, oh, I lost the tether. I lost the tether to who I really am. And I really do love you. I didn't mean it, but it's like, guess what? You said it. You know what I mean? And you can work your way into healing those things, but it does take time, because again, words are just so gosh darn powerful sometimes. And They can be our best friend and they can be our worst enemy, depending again on like, have we done that purification process so that words are what connect us instead of what divide us and what poison us. And meditation's a big one when it comes to that purification process. And silence is a big one, and alone time and breathing and, all the like most, again, the simple, elegant tools, but using them. It's simple, but I never said it was easy because it's a discipline to do these things in a world that only rewards doing and filling the time, going from one thing to the next. That's what's being rewarded. But is it really? At the end of the day, it's actually hurting us. So I think we need to learn gracefully and with patience with ourselves, because it's not an easy thing to do, right? It's not an easy thing to put the brakes on a train going 1,000 miles an hour. That's going to take patience to be like, wow, it's really not easy for me to slow down. So let's start there with that awareness of this feels difficult for me. I don't know if I can just go from 1,000 miles an hour to complete stillness. And it's true. We can't go from 1,000 miles an hour. That will kill us, actually. Going 1,000 miles an hour to complete stop will literally probably our bodies would explode. Yeah. So let's just start at 1,000 miles an hour and then maybe couple, just slowly like put that foot on the brake and experience what it's like to go at like 950. You know what I mean? Like incremental shifts.
Yeah. And that's a truth you can speak to, is saying, I need help slowing down. Right? Or I need to slow down, or, hey, I just need a second to think about this before I respond to you. How's that? Say that instead, right? Expressing that, just the expression in itself of saying that you need some time, and you don't know, you might not know how to achieve that time. You're like, I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to, I just feel like I need a second in some way. That alone is a step towards achieving that space that you need.
Yes.
So,
and finding one's voice is Vishuddha online. Vishuddha online is when you have found your unique voice, not the voice of other people, right? It's not someone else's voice speaking through you unconsciously. It's your voice, and you're making your words nectar, not poison. And you are able to speak from the heart. And, there's everywhere you go becomes better as a result, because you're bringing that nectar of truth with you. And again, you're so right when you said that intrinsic connection between the heart and the voice. There's such a deep connection there. And by the way, ether, so like the heart element is air and the throat element is ether, and together that's vata dosha. And that's what animates us. That's what gives us life. Without vata, there is no dynamism in our personality, in our, like, everything would be really stagnant and stuck without the air and ether elements. So yeah, there is this very, very intimate, intrinsic link between the heart and our ability to speak truth and turn words into things that, again, are medicinal and heal us and connect us and bring us into higher alignment versus like weaponizing,
Yeah. Something that's been so helpful for me over the years, and we got to wrap in a second, but going back to just like that basic ahimsa, is what I'm saying harmful or not?
And is it true or not?
Is it true? What is the checklist? It's like,
is it necessary? Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary?
And is it the right time? Yeah.
Oh, and right time.
Yeah. There's variations of this thing that I've seen, this proverb, or is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it the right time? Just that check, before you speak, before you react, before you respond. Is this going to hurt? Right? Somebody, is it necessary? And if not, then just say, I don't know how to respond yet. I don't know yet. I don't know what to say.
And also, I swear this is my last point and then we can wrap. Our words create reality. When we say words are powerful, what that really means is like words from the subtle realm, they start as thoughts, then they become words, and then they become our reality. So we think a thing, we could just meditate and let that thought go, right? Or just let it come, let it go. Or we can act on the thought. So what you're describing right now is that process of, do I want to turn that thought into something that creates karma in my life? Or like, what is going to be the domino effect of the thing that I'm going to say?
Right.
So when we are bringing things from the subtle into the gross, we have a lot of power, right? We have choice.
Right.
That's strong Vishuddha. When we have choice and autonomy to decide, do I want to co-create and manifest this into reality? Or is this really worth creating my reality? Like, do I really want to create reality around this thought?
Right.
By speaking it. And so the power of the word is that's what the power of the word is. It's literally, we create our reality. As soon as we say something to somebody, that's going to take root somewhere. That's going to show up in our life in some way down the line. And we can't blame anyone else, and we can't say, oh, it's the world. No, we're responsible for the words that we speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And it requires you to think about that effect, right? You
The
do
cause
have to
and
think.
effect.
Yes, you have to think a little bit about the chess game here. If I say this, what is going to happen as a result of that? Okay. And then what happens after that? Like, you have to think through the chain reaction a little bit. It's a lot of like fast processing to do in a very small amount of time sometimes. So that's, again, requires a presence there, right?
And a pause.
To say, okay, Sasha said this to me. If I say this back, what are the 10 things that are going to happen after that? What does that look like? What does that reality look like?
Not liking that one, not liking that outcome. Let's turn around and go a different way. Yeah, exactly.
If I say that, it's like the butterfly effect.
Yes. Yeah.
But think of like these little things and how they can totally change the trajectory of your life and everybody around you just by how you chose to respond to somebody. Did you cut them off, or did you say, hey, let's get coffee?
Exactly.
Right.
And I'll treat you to coffee. You know, even be generous with them. That'll throw them off even more. It's like, you know what it's really hard to be mad at someone who's so generous with you, right? Like, who like actually wants to nourish you with food, like feed you and listen to you. And you're like, all of a sudden like, oh, I can't really hate you anymore because you're being really nice and kind and gracious.
Yeah. Well, that lights up that heart chakra. You're like, I see it in them.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that in our next episode, when we get to the third eye, we're going to probably circle back here because this is such a big one and such a juicy one. And there's a lot more interesting, like there's just more interesting things to kind of touch on as we go, again, more and more subtle. The third eye, our intuition, seeing beyond what we can see. Of course, the Vishuddha, the element of ether is going to be relevant in our next episode. So it'll be fun to come back to this next time and pick up where we left off and let this kind of settle, all of this amazing just truth that we've not uncovered, but just like the more you talk about it, the more aware you are about it, and then you integrate it into your life, and then it'll just be fun to, touch back on. So
give it some time and space.
Exactly.
We'll come back and continue. Okay. Wow. What a chat. What a way to start the week, man.
Right? Happy Monday.
That's great. Yes. What's on the schedule for today?
Right now, I literally have to pee so bad that I can't think straight, but I love you, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.
Yeah. Looking forward to the next one. Okay. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Ojas Oasis with Sasha Brzezinski. To learn more about Ayurvedic healing, please visit ojasoasis.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, have your smile. Hey y'all, Sasha here with a quick note before you go. If you've been listening to Ojas Oasis and are ready to explore what personalized Ayurvedic guidance with me could look like, I invite you to book a 30-minute strategy session with me. Normally, I charge $150 for a 30-minute consultation, but for podcast listeners, I'm offering this call for $100. We will discuss what you're hoping to create in your health and daily life. I'll share whether my approach feels like a good fit for you and what next steps might support you. You can book your session by clicking the link in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.